Hey guys, thanks for joining me today for the first prompt in Ephemerember, which is page tab and moth-eaten lace. And I am going to be having one of these, or a couple of these, caramel truffles with my make today that the lovely Belle sent to me from Bellaboo Creations. They are absolutely delicious, by the way. I had to stop myself from having more than a couple whilst I made this. So Ephemerember, if you don't know, and I'm sure you do, is a month-long challenge in December hosted by Louisa Heinzel and Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. And this year it is Snacks and Stash. So if you have a partner that you want to swap with, which I did with Belle over at Bellaboo Creations, I'll link her channel in the description, you can swap 50 items from your stash and 3 snacks with that person, and then they make stuff for Ephemerember using the prompts. Me and Belle used the number 50 very loosely and I've got lots of fun things to play with. Now that bit of blue paper with those lamps on, that's not from the stuff that Belle sent. That's kind of my base for this page tab prompt, and it was the rest of a part of a Hither and Yon kit. I think it was the fairy journal that I just made for October's free kit, which I released in November. But I tea dyed some paper and it kind of gave it this fun little blue hue, so I took that blue kind of colour and I'm just going through the bits from Belle to pick out some things that will go nicely with that colour that I'm going to use bits of. Now I'm going to do these videos in this sort of format, so I'm going to do them real time but with a voiceover. I'm not quite at the point where I can do process videos where I kind of talk about it and do it, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I don't have enough space. If you're new to my channel, I don't have a craft room, I don't have a craft desk. I literally craft on this tiny little table in my living room, sat on my sofa, and it does mean that I have to get up and go and get things quite a lot and stuff. And also I'm quite new to this, so I can't really do the whole explaining my thought process whilst I'm doing the thinking, if that makes sense. So I kind of prefer to do voiceovers when I am doing that sort of thing, but when it's actually making these little bits for ephemera, so like tags, tabs, all the sorts of things that we're making for Ephemerember, I can film myself making that, because when I do journal book page spreads, so like for Povember and October and that sort of thing, I do a lot of that on my lap, just purely because, like I said, I don't have the space to kind of have things spread around me, so the table generally has a lot of my bits on it that I'm trying to use, and then I end up putting the book on my lap so I can then kind of make it. So yeah, I do a lot of lap crafting, but anyway, that's enough about me. I've picked some bits of things with like blues and greens and neutral colours that I will be using to make this page tab, and I thought the ring pull that Belle gave me would be quite cute on a on a book tab. So I also used a couple of those stars that came in the packaging. They're like made of paper, and I thought that was quite a nice pop of colour to put on the page, and obviously blue and pink goes together anyway. Here I am, just laying out all my pieces, getting ready to think about what I'm going to make. I don't normally make page tabs, like not unless I'm just getting my whale tail punch and just cutting something out and sticking it on. So I was sort of looking at this bit of paper, like this is what I want to use as my base, but I don't really know what I want to do. So I'm spending a little bit of time just kind of thinking that through. And I was thinking, oh, I should cut all that out. But I know that a lot of people do like to kind of see like the brain whirring a little bit. So I thought I'd leave it in. And then I have decided that I'm going to do like a hidden paper clip kind of style. And then I completely forgot how to do a hidden paper clip and had to kind of think that through a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm just thinking about how to fold it. I wanted to, because it's just normal copy paper weight, so I just wanted to make sure it had a little bit of stability, so kind of doubled it up and folded it over a little bit. And then eventually we'll decide what I'm going to do with the paper clip. And let me know in the comments if you enjoy this kind of real-time style video from me with the voiceover, because usually I speed it up, but I wanted to do it real time today so you could see, because Belle sent me such lovely scraps from her stash. I really wanted you to see what I'm using and how I'm using it, rather than just speed it through and like I normally do. Because when it's my stuff, it's not so exciting. But when it's stuff that Belle has sent me from her amazing stash of things, honestly, I feel like I have won with this challenge, because like getting stuff from her stash that I've seen her use, seen her make, it's like, yeah, it's amazing. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well that Defemberember isn't like a Christmas themed challenge or a festive themed challenge. It's kind of whatever you want. And I really enjoy how Barbara and Louisa have set that up, because they appreciate and acknowledge that a lot of people, you know, Christmas isn't a happy time for everybody. And I don't want to go kind of maudlin here, but it's not a happy time for everybody. And people do like to have things to watch and to do, and to kind of take their mind off of the stuff that's getting shoved in your face everywhere. Christmas is a happy time for me. I do love Christmas. Christmas, Halloween, all that sort of stuff is right up my street. So I do enjoy it. But I'm not going to make things specifically Christmassy. I mean, this one is kind of like the blues and stuff. It does kind of fit in with the season, but it's not Christmassy or festive or anything like that. But I don't know. I might do the odd one that's more kind of in that theme. I might not, but it kind of gives you that freedom to not be tied into a certain theme for the month, and it's not an everyday thing either. So I think is it 4 a week? Yeah, I think it's 4 prompts a week. So you can kind of do it at your own pace a little bit. Yeah. So you can just watch me begin to think about what I'm putting where, and figuring out how to do a hidden paper clip, which I eventually kind of sort of remember how to do. Okay, so I think I've got that down now, and I'm starting to think about what how I want this to look. And I'm conscious of the fact that it's a page tab, and because I've made it like a hidden paperclip style, that's kind of going to go in from the side of a page and not at the top of a page, but at the side. Now, I don't know my lefts and rights, so I will never refer to things as being on the right side or the left side of a page. So you'll just have to deal with that about me. So I also have to remember that that paperclip is that direction. So when it goes into a page, it's going into a page on that direction in. And I will show you at the end how it sits on a page, well, on a bit of paper. But yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about how to use these bits, and immediately with that bit of blue thing, with the stamp on it, and the postage mark, I was like, oh no, I don't want to cut this up. I don't want to cut up Belle's stuff. And I was like, do you know what? Belle's always cutting up her stuff. Just cut up the stuff. I really have to get over the wanting to keep things in their original form. So yeah, this should help me actually get to that point, because like I say, it's stuff that Belle uses, and Belle is the queen of layering. Honestly, if you haven't seen her videos, the way that she layers and takes all of these things and like just uses the littlest bits of it and puts them in the background, and then they just build up, and that's what makes it look beautiful and gives it all of its texture and loveliness. It's so inspiring. So because I'm using her things, it's almost like I've got a bit of that like I've got a bit of that energy from her to be able to like kind of like channel my inner Belle. So thanks, Belle, for that. So yes, I'm just getting little bits of these things, and I know now, like, the amount of stuff that I've sent her, she's going to have that for years, because you don't need to use a lot of things when you're making this sort of stuff. And with the page tab, it's quite small as well, so it's a very small kind of area that you're working with, so you really don't need to use a lot of your scraps at all. And like, even though this is just the first prompt, I've already learnt so much about kind of how to use scraps and things, which I do use normally. I mean, I've been making these things for a couple of years now, so I know, like, I have scraps and I use scraps, but I probably use them in a little bit of a different way than what this is kind of getting me to use it as. And even like all these bits that I've got out here, I'm not going to use all of them. That lace that I've got, because part of the prompt is moth-eaten lace, that's just from my stash, so that's not from Belle, but everything else. So literally the lace and the base of the tab and the paperclip itself, that's mine. Everything else is from the stuff that Belle sent me. And I'm going to say again, those caramel truffles are absolutely delicious. I was like, I want to eat them all immediately, but I'm like, also, I want to savour them throughout the challenge. So I have 2 during this one, and then I'll keep the rest and have them later on in the challenge. Yeah, they're so nice. And I was trying to stick those stars on and then hold them down with these clamps, but obviously because the stars are made of paper, it kind of squished them a little bit, so I try and puff it up a little bit again later. So yeah, I'm just figuring out the other side now. Originally I was just going to use that little bit of that marbled paper in the corner and not use those green texture paste bits in this make, but then I thought, no, I like it, I want a bit of that other pop of colour. It's a little bit of like a clash in the make, and I enjoy that. I am very chaotic in my crafting, and I don't like things to always match. I like things to be a little bit out there sometimes. So yeah, so I thought I'd use that circle as well in it, and then I'm using walnut stain ink just to ink around everything, which just gives it a little bit of that kind of neutralness in amongst all the blue. And I don't normally work with blue. It was just because I had, so when I tea dyed some paper recently and I chucked a load in, and I think it was literally one bit of paper I had was blue, and it came off on some of the other bits of paper, and it looks really cool. And then so when I selected this bit with the lanterns and stuff on, it just kind of, and it was also a little bit brown from the tea stains as well. I thought that just looked really nice, very wintry. So yeah, I just went with that and chose the bits from my stash, Belle's stash that she sent me, that kind of fit in with that colour scheme. Let me know if you're joining in on Defemeramba, and if you're new to my channel and you found me just from Defemeramba, then thank you so much for coming over, and I hope you enjoy what you see here, and perhaps you'll go and take a look at some of my other videos. I'm very eclectic in what I do. So for instance, I've just finished Povember, which was hosted by Release the Crafting, which was a month-long challenge using the poems of Edgar Allan Poe, who I adore. And so yeah, if you like that sort of thing, like sort of gothic, then check that out. I also just did No Sojourner November, and that's a lot more kind of underthinky, and just I did like an accordion art journal with, again, using scraps. I try and use scraps and junk and that sort of thing as much as possible. I also like a bit of storytelling as well, so you know, there's some stories for my Creep on June. I created an entire story which then linked into Povember as well. So yeah, if you're new to my channel, then I really appreciate you being here, and I would love it if you would check out some of my other things as well, and let me know where you're from and who you are, and if you've got a channel, I'll go and check out what you are up to as well. I love this little community that we have here, and it gets you friends all over the world, which is just lovely. Yeah, so I'm just doing the moth-eaten lace part now. So I just took some distress spray, can't remember which one it is, probably walnut stain again or something, and then just dipped it over it, and then I'll get it all wet and then make it all look kind of vintagey, dirty basically, grunge it up, and then try and give it a bit of a moth-eaten look, because I don't actually have moth-eaten lace and don't really know what that would look like apart from a bit scruffy. So yeah, watch as I try and scruff up this bit of lace. It's harder than it looks. And also forgetting that my heat gun expels air and blows everything off my table as soon as I turned it on. So that was fun, getting to chase everything around the room with that. So yeah, I'm just getting my scissors here to try and scruff up the bit of lace a little bit, give it that kind of, it's been sat at the bottom of your cupboard look for a bit. And then I just got that ring pulled and popped that on just to dangle that off a little bit, which I think looks really cute with that pink star. And then I've got some of this Dilution spray, mica spray, and just in one little corner, give it a little bit of a shimmer, just to put a bit of interest on that lantern bit of the page. And again, I keep forgetting that this isn't the way up that the tab's supposed to go, it goes in at the side. So I keep having to remind myself and then turn it around and make sure that everything's in it the right direction. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. I think it looks really cute, really simple make, really small make, and yeah, it's just a little collagey piece. So let me know what you think. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please do consider subscribing if you're not already. I'll be back again tomorrow with the next prompt. Is it tomorrow or is it the next day? I'll be back. Oh yeah, it's tomorrow. Floating pocket and bold numbers, I think it is. So thanks so much for joining me today, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.